So Xbox has been in the news quite a bit the last few days, and I want to cover it because it's good, but also really bad. But first, we'll start off with the kind of build up of the story right here, where Dustin Legary and some other people covered the earnings call that recently went out, showcasing the status of the platform. Like, how's Xbox doing, right? Like, are they making enough money to stay in business? Because like, people have been kind of getting this impression that like, yeah, it's not doing so great because they're going multi-platform and they don't really care about like exclusivity anymore, which has been a tradition within the console industry. Well, it seems like they're doing all right because right here it says Xbox content and services revenue increased by 8%, gaming grew by 5%, but hardware declined by 6%. Like content and service revenue was up 8%, driven by the growth within Xbox Game Pass, Call of Duty, and Minecraft. So they're getting stuff in. Like PC Game Pass increased by 45% year over year. So these are really great numbers. Like Xbox is doing fantastic when it comes to seeing their analytics grow. So what's their response? To raise prices. And that new price hike is hitting this holiday. We're confirming that Xbox games are confirmed to be now $80 this holiday. And all I gotta say in reaction to that is just cool. Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted as gamers. The things I like, I want to pay more for. Please, I want to give you more money. You're already getting enough money. You're a multi-trillion dollar corporation, but yeah, squeeze your customer base a little bit more, I guess. And the price on other peripherals like Xbox consoles, controllers, headsets, and some games will be seeing a price hike. And not just like a small little bit, like an extra 10, 20 bucks. That's kind of negligible. No, we're talking like significant jumps in prices showcased here on IGN, showcasing some of the crazes of like an Xbox Series X digital is going to be increased by $100 over here. A traditional Xbox Series X going from $499 to $599. That's a 20% increase overnight. But it looks like the controllers are going to be staying the same price as well, except for the wireless controller, the limited edition, will be seeing a $10 increase right there. And also the Xbox Elite Wireless 2 controller will be getting a price hike for an extra 10 bucks. So like the other price hikes, they kind of make sense, right? Like this is kind of inevitability. I mean, we saw this from Nintendo, right? Raising their prices up to $80 for games. And it's kind of just going along with the times and inflation and costs of living and everything like that to maintain their profit margins. It's kind of expected. So that one I can kind of see, but I'm just saying like the Xbox pricing is just wild to me. The Xbox Series S, the default one, went from $299 to $379. That is a massive increase. That's a 26% increase overnight. I mean, at least they didn't raise the price on Xbox Game Pass, which is supposed to be like the deal for you to jump in and play it. But you're still already spending 20 bucks a month right now for Ultimate if you're on to jump into that side of things. So, I mean, like, you're getting we're starting to get squeezed quite a bit, guys. Now, Xbox did issue a statement on this, but it's really just kind of corpo speak, but so we're all on the same page of what they're feeling. They said that we understand that these changes are challenging. You're not kidding. And they are made with careful consideration given the market conditions and rising costs of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensure value for Xbox players. But I'm saying, like, you guys saw growth. You got more money from us last year, and now you're making us pay even more money now. And I guess we just kind of have to talk about this. I try to keep it out of my videos, but sometimes the bleed through comes through, and I think it's bleeding through now, and it's about the tariffs, right? With the current price hikes that we're going to start seeing here pretty soon, Microsoft was actually asked, like, is this because of the tariffs why you're increasing prices so much overnight? Well, mentioned right here saying Microsoft declined to comment whether prices might come back down if the US President Trump abandons the trade war with China. So it's something like, okay, so that's an interesting way to phrase that question. I would rather ask it like, are these price hikes because of the tariffs? Because that would be something really worth interesting, because now that price is going to be set to that point, I don't ever expect to see that price ever go down for the consumer, right? I would only ever see the price go up because people will become adapted to that price. And it's something that I just would hate to see, just that constant rise of cost of living, essentially. And I'm not the only person feeling this way. Like Paul Tassi, notable reporter here, is saying Xbox went first, but it seems pretty unlikely that Sony and Nintendo will be able to avoid doing this too with the tariffs in place. The $80 games thing is separate and just lurching towards the inevitability, the new industry standard now as the dominoes start to fall. And that kind of like what I was saying earlier as well, right? That like it was The $80 price tag for a game, it was bound to happen, right? Like we've been enjoying the $70 price for the longest time. You're like, okay, it's just inflation, money goes up, it's a thing. But let me prepare you for some math. Stick with me on this one. You'll see how much they're really raising the price on us. To take example, the median household income. Median is basically where they take the average of the average, essentially, right? They take off the lowest end and the highest end, they chop that off. So you really get a real sense of what the average income is for a person for back in the 2000s, right? That was $42,000. And in 2025, an average income is earning about $62,000 a year. So yeah, hey, we're making more money, right? That's a 47% increase. We're making more money, right? That's good. But what if I told you we're actually making less money now than we should be? Because back in 2000, say in November, when the Xbox original console dropped back in November of 2000, if you took that average median income, calculated that out now, we should be earning an average of $77,500 a year. That means people in the United States should be earning 25% more money, but we're definitely not. And remember this income price, right? We've earned 47.6% more money than we did in 2000. But say if we take the price of games back in 2000, which was $49.99, and compare that to what the new price is going to be, $79.99. If we calculate that, that's a 60% increase. So price of gaming is increasing faster than the income of people who are playing these games. So when people bring up the fact of like using an inflation calculator to calculate what games should cost, which should cost $91 if $50 was back then than it is now, but that's not an exact 1-to-1 ratio right there, right? So it's actually much higher of a percentage than what inflation is telling us, which kind of leads to what Paris said over here on Twitter, saying that these Xbox price increases, 5-year-old console going up in price, costing $600 and welcoming a new price of $80. This is supposed to be a hobby for everyone to enjoy, but it's quickly becoming a hobby a lot of people are being priced out of. And you would think with the hardware prices, like we mentioned earlier, or the sales of it, hardware has declined 6% by Xbox, and you think you're going to raise the price by 20%, something like that, overnight on your consoles that were like 5 years old at this point. Like, it's just not gonna work out very well for you guys over there. So while the like $80 price hike the games is kind of inevitable, right? That's just why we're probably gonna see GTA being priced at $80, new games moving forward being priced at $80. Nintendo already took that leap saying they're gonna make games $80 now. And I just kind of figure, it's just an inevitability. It sucks, but prices just kind of generally keep going up. But some of these price hikes, like I said, with the like Xbox Series S, with the 512 gigabyte, that's basically holding one Call of Duty. Basically, it goes up to $380 from $300. That is a massive price increase. And I just have to think that this would have to involve tariffs in some kind of capacity, right? Because obviously that cost is getting put onto the importer when they import goods from outside like China and other things like that. Because China is definitely not paying those tariffs. We're the ones paying that tariff, because the whole point of a tariff is to get people to buy local, right? Buy from the US, essentially from us, but we don't have that infrastructure, so we don't manufacture a lot of things. As we decided to make that handshake with all these countries out there saying like, yeah, we'll trade with you guys so that you can make more money with us and stuff like that, as long as we get cheaper goods. So we have our nice little tasty treats. But now our tasty treats are becoming more expensive. So what's the deal here? And this is just from, like I said earlier, Xbox made more money last quarter, right? 5% growth in gaming in over a quarter. That's really good. Xbox content and services revenue went up 8%. And also what we said earlier, right? That Xbox PC Game Pass increased by 45% over the year. That is massive. And then we still end up having to pay more for the things that we like. It's so rough, man. I think something like this would push more people into Game Pass rather than buying games individually, right? You can see right here that like the core Game Pass is going to be still $9.99, right? Standard Game Pass is $14.99 on the PC platform. It's $12, and if for Ultimate, it's $20 a month. So if you're going to be a person who plays a lot of different types of games and kind of jumps around from here and there, then yeah, like Game Pass might be something useful for you. But we know that like Game Pass is going to increase their prices eventually as well. And ultimately, I think this might be why we don't know the actual price of Marathon right now, because they know what they're going to charge the price, and it's been pretty publicly known that Sony charges $40 for their live service multiplayer games, right? But why hold that information back right now? I mean, like, yeah, you can't pre-order the game at the most, so that kind of would make sense to hold off on that information. But what if they decided to charge $50? I think that might be something they're trying to do. And they're definitely going to get backlash, right? But they want to make sure they hold off on that information as long as possible. So then when everyone becomes acclimated to the $80 price tag and then they see a price hike go up for their live service multiplayer games, they go, okay, that's kind of expected now at this point. But of course, only time will tell, guys, and I'll keep you guys up to date on this channel. If you made it this far, give us a green heart because, I don't know, why not? Let me know who the real ones are that made it to the end of the video here. But if you guys enjoyed the video, thank you all for watching, and like and subscribe is always appreciated. If you missed any content from me recently, check out these videos right here. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.